Insiders, welcome to your Monday download. I've got some good stuff for you today. First of all, I need to mention that my daughter's not in school today, so if you hear any noise in the background, that is her probably watching Cinderella. So if you hear any singing or anything like that, I wanted to make sure you knew what that was. It's possible that you won't hear anything, but if you did, I figured I'd let you know ahead of time. So today we're going to be talking about some liability that many real estate agents don't even think about when they're involved in a short sale, especially from the listing side. That's who probably holds the greatest liability of the two sides of the transaction in a short sale transaction. But before we get into that, I got to start out with my shout out. And this week's shout out is to Connie, who is in the Alliance office. And many of you know Connie. Connie is one of our negotiators. This week, or last week rather, Connie got a postponement on a particular short sale, and there were some specifics about this particular postponement that make it very noteworthy. First of all, the foreclosure auction was a week away, which most lenders won't even look at postponements until they're that close to auction anyway. But it was a week away. It was the first offer that had come in, and it was a very low offer. So the fact that it's the first offer, the bank has done no evaluation of the property, so they don't really know what the property is worth, and the fact that it's very low in comparison to the debt amount is, those are things that can make the need for a postponement not happen, because they're really walking in this blindly. The most impressive part is that Connie got them to get the postponement all the way out to March, which is 2 months away. And most of the time in these situations, a lender will only give like a 2-week postponement so that they can hurry up and get a BPO. And then if it is too low compared to the BPO value, then they can just take it to auction reasonably quick. So congratulations to Connie, because I know that the agent is very happy with this, simply because if for some reason this offer is too low and they're not going to close on it, that he has now enough time to potentially remarket, either get some backup offers here very shortly, or get another offer before the next foreclosure is coming up. And so way to go, Connie, way to really dig in on this. And I know she got some serious resistance, but she really pushed through. And so thanks, Connie, way to go. All right, so liability. Where is the greatest liability for a real estate agent when negotiating a short sale? Well, in my opinion, in looking at the short sale from start to finish, the greatest liability that a real estate agent bumps into is around the approval letter itself. And the reason that is because when a short sale approval letter comes through, it is technically changing the terms of the agreement that a homeowner or borrower has with their bank. Whether it's just simply the reduction of what's owing on the debt, or there are new collection rights, or maybe even a new note that's involved. There are several ways that a short sale approval letter is a change of the agreement that the borrower has. Well, the way the liability comes in the fact that most real estate agents kind of give the approval letter to the seller, say, hey, here's the approval of the short sale, we need to close so you can avoid foreclosure, and they move on to closing. So they either briefly explain what the approval letter says, or they don't explain it at all, but they kind of just push the seller toward the closing table. Well, there is the possibility, a high possibility, that a seller may come back to a broker or an agent or both after even a couple of years have gone by for the short sale, and accuse that agent of giving legal advice regarding the short sale, simply by pushing them to close on a particular short sale approval letter. That is a place that I don't think any of us want to be, and especially a broker who's got a lot of agents doing short sales definitely doesn't want to be in that position. So let's talk about some solutions, but first let's talk about the different types of approval letters that come through. There are 3 main types of approval letters, and some of you that have seen me speak potentially have heard this. But the 3 main types of approval letters are one, which is a total forgiveness of the debt. So they're approving the short sale and forgiving the deficiency or the difference that's from what's owed. The second is the approval of the short sale with a right of collection on that deficiency. And the third is a new note for a portion of the deficiency. And usually that contains a full forgiveness of the rest of that balance. I don't have time to go into all the details on that. for our Insider Network agents. If you're not familiar with this concept, get into the Insider Network, and I have a couple of phone calls, conference calls that we've done with our agents, talking about the liability involved with the approval letters and our solution for that, and also about the different types of approval letters too. So it's in the closing. It's also in your module 6, which is the life after approval part of your training. So, okay, quickly, let's talk about where the greatest potential liability in those 3 approval letters are, and that would be in the collection rights or the note. Both of those have an ongoing effect on your seller after the fact. Just as a side note, even the first one, which is the total forgiveness of debt, has ongoing potential repercussions to your seller, because there's the possibility of a 1099 and a tax liability that your seller will inherit. But for the sake of time, let's focus on the collection rights. First of all, if a seller knows that there's a right of collection, many of them will not want to sign. That may be the best thing for the seller, and it may not be the best thing for your seller. In certain states, there are rights of collection even after foreclosure. So if the second mortgage, for example, is receiving $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 in this short sale, but they'll receive 0 at a foreclosure auction, then there's a potential that the short sale, even though there's rights of collection afterward, is a better solution for the homeowner than letting it go to foreclosure. Here's where agents can get into trouble, even if you know your stuff. You telling that seller that information and giving them that advice, in essence, is giving legal advice to your seller. So how do you avoid that? Well, what we've done at Alliance, and this is something that we implemented several months ago, and we're very proud that we've been able to figure out a way to implement this. We basically allow for and pay for our agents legal advice from a third-party attorney for any seller that wants to get that legal advice, go through the approval letter, and make sure that they understand not only what the approval letter says, but how it affects them, and determine whether or not it is the best thing for them to close on that approval letter. So that would be the answer for a broker who's got a lot of short sales, is to make sure that there is legal counsel available for a seller, especially legal counsel that they don't have to come out of pocket to pay for, because most of them don't have the money to do that, so that they can truly get good legal advice on how to close this. The other really cool thing is that if it's not good for the seller, then the attorney that we're working with is going to give us a letter drafted on the bank or on the attorney's letterhead with very specific information that we've worked on with him to provide, so that we can go back to the bank and say, hey, you need to change these items on this approval letter or you're not going to be able to close. And it's a leverage point for us. So that would be a way that you, as a real estate agent, if you're not working with Alliance, which honestly, if you're doing a lot of short sales and you don't have the resources and the money available to provide a real estate or an attorney for your clients anytime they close a short sale, that would be a huge reason why you should look into working with Alliance. But that would be one of the fail-safe ways that you can make sure you're not giving legal advice to a seller, is to provide for them or make sure that they have access to an attorney to advise them on how this is going to affect them, and then make sure that there's also a way for you to use that to leverage any renegotiation that you need to with with the bank. So that's the pitfall that you really want to make sure you're avoiding, because even if you say I'm not giving you legal advice, but they don't then take up an opportunity to meet with an attorney, potentially they can say that you forced them into it. Whether you did or not, there's always that potential that a seller could say, hey, I didn't understand this. All I know is that my agent told me if I don't close on this approval letter that I'm going to lose my house to foreclosure, and I didn't want to go to foreclosure, but little did I know it was going to affect me this way. So it's a combination of making sure you understand the state laws that would affect your seller in the approval letter, and making sure that they understand the approval letter itself. And the best way to do that is for an attorney to give them that advice. So So that's your download for today. Have a great week. Check out some of the other videos that you may not have seen. There's some really good information in there, and we will talk to you soon. Keep your eyes open for some emails. I got some new paperwork coming out to the insiders in the next couple days. And all right, have a great day and a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.